Hi everyone. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Brittany Loomis. I am a 20-year-old with pulmonary fibrosis. But what I'm here to talk to you guys about is a scam that is going online about people impersonating Ellen's workers from Ellen DeGeneres. Now, I'm going to tell you a quick story, my story, about how I almost died and how I got diagnosed with pulmonary fibrosis. Because for the past, I'd say 10-ish months, I have been writing into Ellen, sending her emails, applying for every giveaway, messaging her on all social medias, doing everything in my power to get on the show because I believe that my story is very inspiring. I want to change lives. I want to help others. I want to, to let other young people know that they're not alone. So let me just give you a quick background of my story. I was 19 at the time. I got the dates of my ear pierced. It's obviously no longer pierced. Got the dates of my ear pierced to prevent migraines. Well, it became severely infected within weeks. I went on antibiotics, but they didn't work. Then the infection turned into a middle ear infection. Middle ear infection, perforated eardrum. Perforated eardrum led from the infection to go from my ears to my lungs. And then I became septic. I also got the flu. My organs started shutting down. My lungs collapsed and I could not breathe anymore. So I was rushed to the hospital and was put on a breathing machine. Well, the infection got worse, the breathing got worse, so I had to be life flighted 3 hours away from home to another hospital and put in a coma and paralyzed. Now that went on for 3 months. I was also on a machine called ECMO, and it is just what I have all these scars on the side from, and then up my leg and then into my groin. It was because my blood stopped circulating correctly. My body was filling up with CO2 and I was almost dying. And then on top of that, like I said, I was having problems with my lungs. That was the biggest issue. So they gave me what's called a trach. A trach is something in your neck. That's what this scar is from. The trach, it was like this big tube in my neck, and I was hooked up to what's called a ventilator. Now the ventilator pressured the air into my trach, down into my lungs, and breathed for me. So after those 3 months of being in the coma, I woke up and I was sticks and bones. I couldn't move, I couldn't walk, I couldn't talk, I couldn't eat, and breathing felt near impossible. So anyways, they pretty much told me I wasn't going to make it through the end of the night, like the first day that I was life flighted. But then I made it 3 months. They said I'd never get off of ECMO, and then I got off of ECMO. A lot of things happened at this hospital. I went through so many different trials and errors and different machines and different strategies and trying to get me off this ventilator, and it was just not working whatsoever. So they sent me back home to a hospital that was about an hour from where I lived, which wasn't bad at all. They were able to get me off the ventilator. My dear friend Kay, who is now the head respiratory therapist at that hospital, Kay was able to get me off of the ventilator in, I want to say, less than a week. And then I was on what's called a trach mask. I was finally able to talk again. And at this point, my feeding tube was out of my stomach, so I was eating again. And then they started walking me around the hospital. I was told I would never talk, walk, or eat ever again. So here I am in this hospital doing all three. It was amazing. I was a miracle. The doctor said I would never get off of the trach. So first it was I would never make it through the night. Then it was never come out of the coma. Then it was never get rid of the ventilator. Then it was never eat, talk, walk. Then it was never get rid of the trach. Well, I was, like I said, on the trach mask, and I was doing some walking, not much. I was diagnosed with pulmonary fibrosis, which is scarring of the lungs, because my lungs filled up with fluid and then eventually holes. Oh, also, not to mention, in the beginning I had a stroke, seizures, and several SVTs. Unfortunately, I remember more than I should. So back to feeling better. Then at this point, this hospital felt that I was doing a lot better. Not good enough to go home, but good enough to go to a nursing home. So they sent me to a nursing home. And that's where I'm at right now. It's been about 4 months that I have been in this nursing home. As you can see, obviously, I am off of the trach. It took them a couple months to get me off the trach, but they did. They successfully got me off of the trach, out of my neck completely. It healed up on its own, and now I'm on only 2 liters of oxygen. When I came here, I was on 6 liters of oxygen through the trach, on my trach mask. And I was on the wheelchair for most of the time that I've been here. I was in a wheelchair, and getting up to go to the bathroom was like running a marathon. And now I am walking with a walker, but I can walk independently, like around my room and small distances. So once again, I proved the doctors wrong. I got rid of the trach, got rid of the ventilator, I got out of the coma, I got rid of all of my tubes and drains, and I'm walking, talking, breathing, eating, everything that a normal person should be doing. Yes, I get out of breath, like severely out of breath, with a lot of exertion and a lot of movement and a lot of carrying, and I'm very weak, and I still have a long way to go. But the great news is I'm going home June 4th. Yeah. No, June 7th. Oh my gosh. June 7th. I am a single mom. I have a little boy. He will be 1.5 on the 5th. So I can't wait to go home and be with my son. And I will be going home on oxygen. I'll have my walker still. I'll have an aide. I'll have physical therapy. Anyways, that's my story. And there's so much more to tell that I could go on for hours, but I won't. I want to tell you more about the scam. I want to talk about Ellen DeGeneres. And, you know, feel free to share this with your friends and your family, because she was talking about a 12 days of giveaway on Facebook. And I kind of went on there and told a little bit about my story and how I thought that I should, you know, be nominated. And I think that may have been how this guy contacted me. And I wasn't the only one that put, you know, my story on there. So in the middle of the night, it was about 10, 11 o'clock, I got a message from someone called Ellen Lee with a picture of Ellen DeGeneres. I have been writing into the show for months. Like, my dream. Like, I'm getting goosebumps even talking about it. Is to be on the Ellen DeGeneres show, share my story, help others. You know, my story is one of a kind, and I want to change lives. I really want to go on Ellen, because I feel like that's how I can promote pulmonary fibrosis, you know, promote my story and help others. And someday I want to be a respiratory therapist, like the ones that saved my life, and I want to save others' lives. So let's get into this. Ellen Lee, this is it. A man messaged me and said, "Hello, how are you doing? This is Agent David Joseph, in charge of the Ellen DeGeneres Fans Grant. We are here to let you know that you've been selected as one of the lucky Ellen DeGeneres Great Nights of Giveaway this holiday season on NBC. Please get back in touch with me once you hear this, so we can proceed with your winning process. Seems legit to me, right? I mean, I had been writing into her for months, so of course I thought it was right. So I commented back, was very excited. Gave him my number, and then he told me to claim my prize and that I had to fill out this form and to avoid double claiming, yada yada. So the claim requirements were a lot of personal questions like your name, your address, your country, your number, your marital status, your sex, your age, and your email. Of course I gave it to him. Do I feel stupid now? Absolutely. Then he told me a lucky number and batch number and serial number. He told me to note these numbers down. I don't know if you can see them. He told me to note these numbers down and to keep them safe. And that it was very important not to lose these numbers. He said congratulations again, and that I had been selected as one of the lucky winners, again of the Ellen DeGeneres fan grant, with a sum of $800,000. At this point, I officially started to feel sketchy. My heart started to break because in my head, I was imagining going on the Ellen DeGeneres show like I've always dreamed of. I mean, I was picturing my outfit, my hair, my son and my mother coming with me, the flight, everything. I pictured telling my story, I pictured meeting Ellen, everything. I was crying. And I called my mom up in the middle of the night, and she was so excited. And then I called my best friend in the middle of the night. I couldn't believe it. It was like everything I've been wishing for months. Then he asked me what I would do with the money, and I told him that I would pay medical bills and get a safe car and an apartment for my son and I, take my mom out because she has been my rock and my soul, and she's been by my side through this all. So even after hearing that, he was like, oh, that's good, blah, blah, blah. Then he told me to keep this out of public notice for my own security reasons and privacy because of double claiming. And he told me that I would be featured on the Ellen DeGeneres show. Then, this is when I knew. He said, Madam, do you have a $500 Amazon card for your winning activation for the FedEx to have your winning delivered for you within 6 hours after your departure? So, he wanted $500 out of me. How much money did I have in the bank? 2 cents. I'm not even kidding. I live in a nursing home right now. I don't work. I lost my job. I lost my car. I lost my place. And I lost the health of my lungs and my strength. What do I have besides my beautiful son waiting at home for me? And I told him that. And he still continued to beg for this. Said, oh, it's not going to be possible. It's not going to be possible unless you send me this. I told him over and over again, no. And then I was like, he said he's been working for Ellen for 10 years now and serves as an agent. And I said, okay, prove it. And he sent me a poorly photoshopped identification card. Let me get a good look on that. Ellen DeGeneres staff identification card, David Joseph. Now this says he lives in Colorado and that it is signed by Ellen DeGeneres. Might I mention he also texted me off a number. There it is. His number. Saying again that he was the agent Joseph, or David Joseph, and that I needed to claim my prize. And that I needed to fill out the form and send the money. Well, I looked up that number, and that number was from North Carolina. So his identification card was from Colorado. His phone number was from North Carolina, and his job was in California. I ended up calling into the Ellen DeGeneres show and was told that these scammers have been scamming people, like several people all across America, trying to get them to send them money and gifts and things like that, pretending to be Ellen or Ellen's workers. So if you, this is what she told me, so I'm going to tell you, if you get somebody messaging you saying that they work for Ellen and you won this and you have to do so and so to get your prize, do not fall for it. It is a scam. I know so many people are young and naive. I'm one of them. Thank God I was smart through this and didn't send him money, even though this has been my dream. I just don't understand how somebody could do that to somebody who's been through what I've been through, who's almost died more than 5 times, who's been away from their son, who's fought for their life, who's suffering, who can barely walk without feeling like they're gonna pass out. So this woman told me to keep writing into Ellen DeGeneres, and maybe I'll get on next season. So for all my family and friends, or anybody watching, if you want to write in for me, that would be awesome. I'll avoid the scammers. And if you want to read my whole story, see pictures and videos, you can go on Facebook and look up Brittany Loomis - the day the bottom fell out of my perfect life. And it's open to public, it's open to everybody. And I'll probably be posting this video on there as well. So hopefully we can get this to Ellen and let her know. So please spread the word. Share, share, share. There's scammers out there and it's not okay. Team Ellen, let's go. I love you guys.